I think the main thing is that we are all about relationships. And, I always say, I don't really know that much myself, but I always know who to call to get the answer. And I have a good sense, and we have a good sense of who should meet who. And sometimes there's no reason. Just, you should have lunch with Elena because you're just gonna like each other.
Right.
And I truly believe that that's what's very, very special about our organization.
Well, welcome.
So glad to be here, Elena. Thank you, and your beautiful offices here at Copy and Art. It's amazing. It's amazing what you've built here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, guess you're in for a treat today. Thank you for joining us at Inside Copy and Art, the podcast. I'm here with Dr. Marsha Gordon, the president and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and I'm so excited to get into it. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so I know you, but why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what you do at the Business Council, what you've done for many years, and why don't we start there?
Sure. Well, I'm proud to have been the president and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester for over 20 years.
Wow.
I have to whisper that because it's hard to believe.
Amazing.
And we have really built the premier business organization in the Hudson Valley, and certainly one of them in New York State and the region, for really building business. So we are an organization that represents businesses of all shapes and sizes, from Regeneron and MasterCard and PepsiCo to the big hospitals and the big universities. We're very proud that we have over 150 not-for-profits as members.
Wow.
Because we consider the not-for-profits part of the business community.
Sure.
And economic contributors. And then, of course, many entrepreneurially owned businesses like yourself, mid-sized businesses, small businesses, which frankly make up the bulk of Westchester and the nation's economy. And our overall mission is economic opportunity for everyone in Westchester. And we do that by focusing on prosperity for our community through the advocacy work that we do, through economic development and community development, and also profitability for our members. So we want our members to meet each other, to work together, to help build our community together, to contribute back, to grow their businesses, to hire people, and to make money.
Yes.
And so that's really what the Business Council does.
Yes, we joined many years ago.
Yes.
And then took a little hiatus because I realized that, like everything else in life, you get what you put in.
Right.
And so not being able to show up to the events actually hindered us a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then maybe a few years ago, we really started coming to it.
You jumped in.
We jumped in.
Your team jumps. Yes, you did.
We really did.
Yes, you really
2
did.
feet. But it's actually a testament to the fact that when you do it, it works. And we found a lot of friends and partners and clients at these events. So we're big advocates of the BCW.
Thank you. We appreciate
you know that.
Yes.
I want you to tell the audience a little bit about Albany Day, because I think it's such a fun day.
It's
coming
Tuesday.
up. I know it's coming up. And I went, and I was just so impressed by the entire experience, and I think everybody should go.
Well, Albany Day is very, very important, and because it's important that our legislators see the power of the business community.
Yeah.
And when we walk into Leader Senator Andrew Stewart Cousins' office, and there are 40 or 50 of us around the table, that says something, that people have taken a full day out of their schedule, out of their revenue producing schedule, to come to Albany to advocate for things that are important to the business community.
Yes.
And to the community at large. So we begin the day, and we are so fortunate that John Ravitz, who's our executive vice president, is a former assemblyman.
Yeah.
So John still walks through the halls of Albany, and people know him. And we get to go into the chamber, and it's a lot of fun. It's a treat. As a matter of fact, when I go to Albany, and I did it recently by myself, I was like, oh my God, which elevator would I take? Even though I've done it for years and years and years, but I've been so used to following John.
Yes.
And so we start our day really with, we leave on a bus. So you're stuck on a bus with 30 people. It's a great way. We always say this about the Business Council. We are about creating relationships. We're not a transaction-oriented organization. We're about those friendships. We're about those strategic alliances. We're about creating relationships. And when you are together for a full day, that's pretty bonding.
Sure.
It's very bonding. And so we start with presentations from our legislators, our local assemblymen and senators, and they come and they meet with our group. And then we normally have some presentations from some of the commissioners or some of the departments, whether it be labor or whether it be budget or some of the biggies, and health and so on and so forth, to know what's happening in Albany right then. And then we have a lovely lunch, and then we go by foot and we go to visit different legislators' offices. And it culminates, and we say that that we have certain issues that are of concern to us. We have a very comprehensive legislative agenda, which we present, which really lays out our issues for the year. There are others that come up that we add during the year, if necessary. But this is a very, very important day to show the power of the business community in Westchester to our legislators. And we all see, and we have relationships with our legislators here, and that's extremely important. Yeah. But when people, when they see us there, it's very meaningful. Yes,
it's different.
Yes,
and I had a great time. Then there's dinner. Then there's maybe a glass of wine.
Yes,
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. And so it's a long day, and it's a really, really wonderful day, and it's educational for members. I love when we bring people. When you went with us, Elena, was it your first time?
It was.
Yeah.
Except maybe when I was in grade school, maybe.
So we love it when first of all, the halls of Albany are beautiful.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
The Capitol is gorgeous, and it's something to see. And so when we bring people, especially for the first time, it's very, very meaningful.
Yeah, I think what was surprising to me was the level of camaraderie and kind of, that power, starting to understand issues that maybe fall outside of your current business day, let's say, and kind of going there as a unit. It was a lot of fun. I think I solidified a lot of friendships that day.
That's great.
I definitely recommend you go. If you haven't been, certainly look into it. Now, one of the other things that I find really exciting that I know you're a part of, but I'm hoping you'll tell the audience about is, and because we're a creative agency, of course we would be turned on by this, but the film industry and Westchester.
Yes, let me brag. Yeah.
Please brag, because I think this is one of the coolest things going on right now in Westchester, certainly. I am looking for a tour, by the way. We'll talk after this. But talk to me about what's going on in Westchester in terms of the film, studio industry, so forth and so on.
So look, we were just talking about this morning, that the Great Point Studio Lionsgate development that Joe Cotter has built in Yonkers is all, we all talk about, lately, years and years ago, we talked about IBM and PepsiCo and MasterCard. And in recent years, we're talking about Regeneron, right? Because they are doubling their campus and building like 900 football fields or something and hiring 1,000 people and everything happening here. But what's happening in southern Westchester, in Yonkers, is its equivalent in a different industry.
It's exciting.
And it's so exciting. It's so meaningful. I had the honor of being present last week at a private tour that Great Point Studios Lionsgate had for people from HBO, people from stars, from shows, producers, to showcase the studios they have.
I know I try to sneak in, but that's
and the studios are huge.
And beautiful.
They're huge and they're beautiful, and you walk through these sets and you see a show that's being done that's from, let's say, the 1950s, and it looks like a police, a detective's studio, and so you see cigarette stubs and you see other things. They're like, don't touch anything, But it really, really looks like it. You see an apartment from the 1970s and how they do that. And what's so special that's being done there is that they are doing everything in-house. So they are providing the catering, they're providing the hairdressing, they're providing the makeup. They purchased Hudson Scenic, which is a production where they make the sets, and we got to visit that, which is located at the Ludlow train station. So it has moved from that place, which, by the way, is repurposed. It's adaptive reuse. It was a former Otis elevator building.
Yes, I remember hearing about it. I think at Hall of Fame.
And so you see, and they've kept some of that history, and you see every time you go that it's growing. And there are going to be thousands of people that are working there. It's right across from the train station. On the advocacy side, by the way, we've advocated very strongly for the film and video tax credits, which is helping to grow this industry in New York. And by the way, we have Lionsgate and Great Point Studios in Yonkers. There are others that are looking at the area, but this is happening throughout the Hudson Valley. I could say that because I'm co-chair of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council. And so we see this happening even in Ulster and Sullivan County. So
this is so exciting, right? Because if you think about it, if it isn't Hollywood, California, they could
Hollywood on the Hudson.
It's Hollywood on the Hudson, but it could be anywhere, right? And the fact that they're choosing Westchester and our area. I mean, what do you think it says? Like, did you have a part in like selection?
No,
what
we did not. No, we did not have the part in the
like, do you know why they chose Westchester?
Well, they chose Westchester. One, the proximity to the city. You know, it's Yonkers is a half an hour.
Right.
They had a very visionary developer. They had a business-friendly mayor, and in Mayor Spano in Yonkers that welcomed that. They had opportunities for the talent to come here, to live here, and to develop a great opportunity. And there's a certain radius, I'm not sure what it is, around New York City where the union rules are still friendly. Okay. And Yonkers was within that radius also.
I love that.
So it is very technical.
Yes.
The state was very supportive of this. So there are incentives for companies like that to come.
I mean, it makes sense.
And there should be, because it's job producing.
It is, and it's so exciting.
And what's so exciting that Robert Helmy is doing, and Joe Cotter, they have invested and committed to creating a secondary school in Yonkers, and it will. I think it's going to be called the Helmy High School or something. And I made that up, but it has his name in it. And those students will, of course, get a high school education, but they will also get a trade, and they will learn whatever they want to relate it to the film industry. And they will come out of there being able to either go on to college or get a job.
Well, I have to say that's really, very really meaningful. Of course. I mean, I think the industry has, suffered the way many industries have in terms of trying to train up like people that are kind of underrepresented in the industry. And this is certainly a way to kind of elevate the community and give children in these areas the opportunity to have a Hollywood type job right where you are. And I think it's beautiful, and I love every part of it.
Great.
So I can't wait to see it.
It's really great.
So there's a lot of exciting things happening right now.
Yes.
What else today? What did I miss? What else should the audience know?
I think we should talk about the growth of Regeneron. Regeneron is the largest biotech around.
I love it.
They are growing like crazy right here in Tarrytown, in Greenburgh, in Westchester, and across New York State. They're also in Rensselaer. They're going to be adding advanced manufacturing as well.
That's so cool.
So they are, and they're, again, yes, there are jobs for, PhDs and postdocs and all of that in science, but there are other jobs across the board.
There's support services, sure.
And so this is really, really, really exciting. Lots of growth, as you well know, because copy and art is so strong in this area, in healthcare. So we see growth in all of the hospitals. I know in White Plains, in Westchester Medical Center, in New York Presby, so lots of growth along, in that sector, and still a very strong core of professional services.
Yes.
And other areas. So I think Westchester's diversity of businesses and support business is what makes us a community that can withstand really tough times like we just went through.
I agree. Do you feel like there's any upside for Westchester post-COVID? I know a lot of businesses have either let go of their New York City real estate. And New York City obviously is our friend, but Do you feel like you
well,
know
look,
some
we have a
what we're
lot
seeing-
more. We have a lot more people living here.
but
You
this
know,
yeah, I'm
when,
finding
when
that
people were leaving Westchester, and Pattern for Progress just came out with a report of people leaving leaving the Hudson Valley in a certain amount of years, but they don't have the stats yet for those that have come in post pandemic.
Oh.
We know the real estate industry is on fire.
yes,
You know, someone was telling me the other day that within 3 days her house was sold.
yeah,
You know, and you know, so that's, you know, so that's very, very positive. And look, all these apartments that are being built in White Plains and Yonkers and New Rochelle and Portchester, they are all being rented.
sure,
You know, they are an opportunity, and that's multi-residential development. There's also required affordable there, very, very important. We want affordable housing for people that live here as well. And so I think the whole real estate sector is going to be driving the economy, and we still haven't quite figured out who all the people are
okay.
that are coming here.
Yeah, it feels anecdotal. However, you know, when I would speak to other businesses, they'd say, "Hey, you know, my organization doesn't know if they're going to keep their big New York City office, but they're building a satellite here in Westchester."
Yeah.
I just feel like I'd be curious to know.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's still to be determined.
Yeah.
Because you know the workplace has definitely shifted. You know, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday really busy.
Yeah.
Monday and Friday not so much. So I think as leases come up, what I'm hearing is that people are renewing their leases, maybe for a little bit less space, maybe you know, downsizing a little bit, but people are committing to stay. Where in New York City, there are huge empty office buildings.
Yes.
And that's a real issue for New York City, because what are they going to do with those buildings? And people say convert them into apartments. And in some cases that is totally possible and is being done. But I don't understand plumbing and the way things are and walls and pipes and everything. But for reasons like that, and the fact that, you know, apartments need windows, right? And a lot of those are inside spaces.
Right. How do you navigate that?
How do you navigate that? So I was really pleased this year to be on the New York Commission and to learn about some of the challenges there. And there's a shift there because they, you know, it was always Manhattan centric, and now there's more happening in Brooklyn and in Queens and in the Bronx and so on and so forth. And so employees are saying to their companies, why aren't you coming to where we are as well? So,
sure.
You know,
we see it here.
Yeah.
I can get it. So lots of exciting things in Westchester.
Lots of exciting things.
I want to talk to you a little bit more on the personal front. So tell me a little bit about you maybe coming into the business council 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Is this what you thought you'd be doing?
Well, no, I didn't grow up thinking I would run business organizations, but I found myself, you know, years and years ago I lived in Dutchess County, and when it was heavily IBM country, and if you didn't get a job at IBM, you know, you were it was tough. But I found myself in the not-for-profit sector.
Okay.
Wound up for a little bit in academia at Marist College, where I handled a lot of I was the director of corporate education. Nice. And learned a lot about education and training back then. We actually trained back in a very long time ago. IBMers how to use PCs, believe it or not.
Wow.
We had thousands of people coming through our classes. Back then, Lotus 123 and all of that. So and then frankly, wanted to get into the private sector and saw an opportunity to be a membership director for a Chamber of Commerce based in Newburgh in Orange County.
Okay.
And I said, I'll throw in a resume. I know nothing about this. But, you know, at that point, Orange was growing. They had hoped Stewart would grow. And I threw in a resume, and I got a job as a membership director. And then found myself a few years later running the chamber in Southern Dutchess County. Did that for 9 years. And then, frankly, I was ready to, my daughter was grown. I was ready to leave. I'm a New York City girl that wound up in the country you know, for a long time, for 25 years. And so found myself, believe it or not, in Stamford, Connecticut, running a transportation management organization. So back then, transportation management organizations were, you know, the signs on the side of the road, 1-800-FIND-RIDE. Mm-hmm. That was what that was.
Okay.
And so we helped businesses encourage their employees to get to work different ways besides driving to work every day alone, because traffic was so bad back then on I-95 and I-287 that it was a hindrance to attracting employees.
Yeah, because if you're stuck in traffic, you don't want to.
And honestly, I really didn't like that job. It was just too, one thing,
Okay.
And it was really a quasi-governmental job. But I learned a lot about transportation.
Right.
And I had planted a seed when I left Dutchess County with somebody who came to do a seminar for us on family businesses. And his name was Andy Carlin, and he was an attorney here in White Plains for years and years and years. And I remember I said to him, so you're in Westchester, are you involved with the then Chamber of Commerce? And he said, oh, I'm vice chair of the board. And I said, well, when Harold leaves, who was my predecessor, I want that job. And I kept in touch with Andy. When I left, I said, I'm here at Metropole, but you keep in touch with me. And he did. And that's how I got the job. But
I love it.
But not knowing that the organization, frankly, Harold always said there were 3,000 members. There were maybe 300 members. I left a beautiful office, in Stamford, Connecticut, overlooking the Long Island Sound, and wound up in a basement office, on Mamaroneck Avenue with smoke all over it, and inherited a tough organization. And I had a mentor, a friend of mine, who said to me, "It's the best news I've ever heard because you've no place to go but up."
That's true.
And I just started. Other people come in and they do strategic planning and they get stuff done and they have time to think about and absorb. And I just had to bring in money. I just had to bring in some money because we couldn't make payroll, the first payroll. My husband said to me, "What did you do?" And I said, "I'm going to get us out of it." And we did. And you'll appreciate this, Elena. At that time, it was a time when you had newsletters that you put together, and they had no newsletter. And believe it or not, at that point, I can't believe I'm thinking about this, there was a man who walked through our door and he had just purchased what was an Alpha Graphics print shop. And I said, "I can't believe you're walking in my door because I need you so badly." And I didn't know then that he knew nothing about printing. He had purchased this franchise and he took what I needed and he brought it over to his colleague in somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they helped us get out our first newsletter.
Oh, wow.
And so that was very, very important. That was a really big deal at the time.
Sure. We have a newsletter copy in our
Yep.
little old school too.
Yep. No, well, done differently now, though.
A little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit differently.
So where are we? Where is the Business Council today?
So now we are an organization of 1,000 plus members.
Wow.
We can very well make payroll. But more than that, I think more importantly than that, we can reinvest in our members and in the community. And we've done that, every year. Our executive committee sits down and says, have we done this year? And what are we going to invest in the community to try new initiatives? And those initiatives have included, years ago, adding a membership services coordinator. And after that, doing our data exchange. And after that, doing our innovation network and our talent initiative. And we do this because you have to be meeting the demands of the community and the needs. And you have to be reinvesting back and doing new things.
Yes.
And so, our tried and true people still love networking. They love business development. They love all of this. But we're always pushing the envelope forward to be thinking of what are the current needs of the business community and how can we meet those needs? Talent, for example, this year.
Big talk.
Big talk. We knew that talent was the biggest issue for our members' growth, finding the right people.
Yes.
And so we were working with Larry Gottlieb from Robert Morton Company,
yes,
who invented a campaign called the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman as the ultimate headhunter in Westchester.
Yes.
And so and there's a QR code. We've partnered with organizations like Historic Hudson Valley at the Great Jack-O-Lantern Blaze and Winter Wonderland from Westchester County Parks and Look Cinema and the Picture House. And we've gotten, and Iona University, and we've gotten in hundreds, probably thousands of resumes. And we try to help our members find good people.
Sure.
And we've been very successful.
Yeah, I think he's actually helped us out. He sent a couple of resumes, copying arts way. Yeah, and I was on a panel. I think it was one of my favorite parts of the council, other than the traditional kind of networking events, is this focus on the value that either a business or an individual can provide to the network and to the membership. And so, you know, for those of you who may not know a lot about the BCW, like the panels that you do and giving people the opportunity and a forum to share their expertise so that the rest of your membership can learn and market it.
So we've had Talent Tuesdays, and you were absolutely terrific because what we found when we started this talent series is that a lot of our members, I'm whispering this, but they couldn't find talent because they weren't prepared to hire talent.
Okay.
They didn't have exciting websites or exciting offices like Copy and Art does.
Yeah.
You know, and so Elena, you were so helpful, as well as other people on that panel, about educating businesses as to what they need to do if they want to attract good people. You can't have a website that doesn't have a career page, for example.
Right.
You know, and so that's very important. We have another series called State of the Economy, where we bring in people to talk about different sectors in the economy. This, you know, this coming week we're talking about the entertainment sector, and we're talking about healthcare next month. And we've done development, and we've done nonprofit and community building. That's very important. Then we just have webinar, you know, opportunities where people, as you said, learn from each other. So whether it's, you know, the current HR trends, or how to market yourself better, or how to do sales, or how to do, you know, so on and so forth. That's really what we're about.
Right.
And so we provide people educational opportunities. We provide people, you know, opportunities to connect, people opportunities to speak, and we get the word out very well about them. And we have a lot of interest, and we're learning also that people aren't always on at the time. Are you finding this, Elena? We say, okay, we're having this webinar on Tuesday at 11. Kind of look at them like, oh, there are like 60 people on. We thought there would be 120 on.
They'll watch it on their time.
They watch it on their time.
Yes.
The world has changed.
The world has changed.
Yeah.
And I think talent is a really, I'm really grateful that was the focus area for this year, because it is certainly, as an employer, like putting that hat on, this business isn't, you know, it can't be stronger than its weakest link, right? And so if you can bring in the business, but you can't find the talent to execute with excellence, then there goes your business.
Exactly.
So it is, and the times have changed post-COVID so much.
Yeah.
And people have they're so uncomfortable with change that you know, some employers are trying to do business the same way they did before. It's just not working for them.
It doesn't work.
And they're going, I can't believe I can't get great people through the door. And you're not innovating or thinking about what's going on.
And that's been another big focus for us, our Westchester Innovation Network, where we really find innovators, bring them into Westchester, focus on the ones that are in Westchester, really innovative companies, and match them with companies that are willing to test their products and services and give them feedback. And we're getting out the word about them.
Sure.
Then we're working with municipalities to solve issues. We again have students from Iona that are working with municipalities in a program we call City Labs. Started with Mount Vernon to educate people about MWBE opportunities. We went to Yonkers Municipal Housing Authority, run by Wilson Kimball, where the students worked on solutions to the heat islands in the municipal housing inventory. And we just finished a program in New Rochelle. We're using virtual reality. The students helped small businesses reimagine the city and what they were doing.
I love that.
Great.
I love that.
Exciting. So exciting.
It's such an important time.
Yeah.
Now, what might I have forgotten to ask in terms of your your career. I'm going to end on what is the next level for you, because you've accomplished so much. What does that future kind of look like for you? And but what else?
I think the main thing is that we are all about relationships, and I always say I don't really know that much myself, but I always know who to call to get the answer. And I have a good sense, and we have a good sense of who should meet who. And sometimes there's no reason. Just you should have lunch with Elena, because you're just gonna like each other,
right?
And I truly believe that that's what's very, very special about our organization. We're also a very diverse organization in every way. Very proud of that for a business organization, and so we have people that are just starting up to mature businesses. We have a 40 under 40 group.
Yes.
We were really trying to bring everybody together to help build the community. Just last night we had what we call circles of influence.
Yes.
Where we had 350 people there. Half people that were bringing in potential members and half potential members.
Right.
And we had over 40 members join the business council.
And I'm sure you'll have more.
We have much more. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot happening, and it's a place where we help foster community growth.
Well, it's funny because you've been talking about the BCW for many, many years, and so kind of the talking points. But from a member's perspective, one of the things I'll say is impressive about all of the things that you're talking about, and I can attest to, is with this many agenda items as an organization, and the fact that you are true connectors and do really, really great networking opportunities. The only way you can actually connect organizations or individuals is by getting to know them.
Yeah.
Right. And so you'd actually have to know something about me to meet someone and say, hey, you should get to know Elena or Copy and Art. And that's one of the things that I applaud you and your team members on.
Yeah, and we are a team. We're a small but mighty team. And then we have great board members and ambassadors and other people that are very engaged and involved.
Yes. I love it. It's funny, John emailed me this week because his son Harry, is going into marketing. And I just thought that was the nicest thing. And it's, and it's just, it's nice when an organization actually stands behind the talking points. And
yes, we do.
I would definitely say if you're in business in Westchester, you aren't a member, you should join.
Thank you, Elena.
For sure. I want to thank you for being here.
I'm delighted.
This was amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes,
thank you so
much. As these agendas kind of keep going, hopefully you'll come back and tell us more.
I look forward to it. Thank you for the opportunity,
Elena. Of course,
and thank you to everyone at Copy and Art. You have a great team here.
I feel it too. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you for joining us on Inside Copy and Art, the podcast.